The art of living. 3. 4 characteristics of virtue. I was nervous about pulling the trigger. I had never used a shotgun before, but my friend took me out into a field to shoot discs that are thrown into the air as moving targets. My friend, who is usually a good marksman, shot the first several rounds but didn't hit anything. He turned to me and asked whether I wanted to try. Bang! On my very first shot, I knocked one down. Someone watching me at that moment might have been very impressed. Wow, he hit it on the first try. He must be a lot better than that first guy. One good shot, however, does not make a good marksman. A good gunman possesses the ability to use a shotgun well and hit his target consistently and easily. I, on the other hand, barely knew what I was doing. My next 35 shots made that evident. They were all embarrassing misses, widely off the mark. If we are aiming to live virtuously in our marriage, families, and friendships, we need much more than sporadic good deeds or occasional acts of kindness when we happen to feel motivated or in a good mood. There are 4 key characteristics of virtue that are crucial for living our relationship on target, the way God intended for us. According to the Catechism of the Catholic Church, the virtuous person does what is good consistently, easily, promptly, and joyfully. Consider an analogy from sports. A PGA golfer possesses a high degree of ability that enables him to succeed on the golf course. He is prompt doing whatever he needs to do to improve his game, always willing to put in the long hours of practice necessary to be an excellent golfer. He also has developed a great swing and has good sense about how to hit the ball. It's easy for him to place it straight down the fairway, and he does it consistently. You can count on him to hit the ball well, not every once in a while, but all the time. Moreover, he finds joy in playing the game so well. I, on the other hand, am not a good golfer. I am not prompt about practicing the sport and would rather put it off to do something that interests me more. I rarely play, and when I do, it is abundantly clear that I do not possess the skills of golfing. It's not easy for me to hit the ball well, and even if there are a few occasions when I happen to get lucky and hit the ball down the middle of the fairway, I am far from consistent in doing so. Normally I hit the ball in the woods, in the water, or as a lame ground ball up the middle, and since I am so poor at this sport, there usually is not much joy when I play. Similarly, a leader in an organization who is regularly indecisive is not a good leader. Even if he happens to make a good prompt decision that he sticks to every once in a while, he is not someone his team can count on to guide them on a regular basis. Likewise, a parent who regularly has loud emotional outbursts at home is not a parent his children can count on, even if every once in a while he is calm and does something very generous, loving, and kind for them. Most of the time, the children might be a bit timid around him, worried about when the next unexpected eruption might occur. We want people in our lives on whom we can rely, but that requires that they possess virtue, the habitual disposition to do the good, and to do it consistently, easily, promptly, and joyfully. On the flip side, the more we grow in virtue, the more we become the kind of men and women others can depend on. And isn't that what we all desire? We want to be the kind of people our friends, family, colleagues, and neighbors can count on in life. Are you reliable? I recently was playing soccer with my children, friends, and coworkers. There were certain players on the field who are very skilled at the sport. My kids, for example, have a good touch with the ball. They can receive a pass well, dribble, look up, and quickly connect a pass to someone else. They are the type of players you want to get the ball to. You have confidence that if you pass to them, they will do good things with it because they have the skill. They are reliable. But me, I'm not nearly as reliable as they are on the soccer field. Their skills far surpass my own. If someone passes the ball to me, there's only a 50-50 chance that I'll make a good play. In fact, in crucial moments during the game, I could tell that my teammates were understandably nervous about passing the ball to me. It was too much of a risk. They wisely chose to get the ball to others they could count on. The same is true in life. We may have certain relatives, friends, colleagues at work, and people at the parish whom we know are trustworthy. We have confidence that if we entrust them with a task, ask them for a favor, or request their help, they're going to deliver. They will do it well, and they will do it consistently, easily, promptly, and joyfully. They are the kind of people who are always happy to step up and give their best to whatever is needed. You can pass the ball to them with confidence. But we also know people who don't trust in this way, But we also know people we don't trust in this way. People from whom we would not ask a favor, or people to whom we would not entrust something important. We do not have confidence they would see things through with excellence. We might be hesitant to ask them for help, perhaps because we do not trust that they have the wisdom or relevant life experience to know what to do or have the ability to do it well. They might sincerely want to serve, but they will do it sloppily. They will do it hastily. They won't be as attentive as we hope. They won't think it through carefully. They will be late. These people are not reliable, and there may be other situations where we sense we will be an inconvenience to people. They might in the end agree to help, but we perceive that deep down they would prefer not to. We suspect they might even complain about it and not do it with joy. These people are not reliable either. Others cannot depend on them. What kind of person are you? Are you the kind of person whom your friends, family, and colleagues can confidently count on in life? I think of Mary, whom Scripture describes as someone who found favor with God, Luke chapter 1, verse 30, a biblical expression that points to how God viewed her as someone who was reliable and to whom much could be entrusted. The patriarch Joseph, for example, was someone who found favor with his Egyptian master, Potiphar. Joseph was faithful in carrying out all the tasks given to him. Potiphar noticed how responsible Joseph was and put him in charge of the day-to-day affairs of his household. The Bible explains, Joseph found favor in his sight and attended him, and he made him overseer of his house and put him in charge of all that he had. Genesis 39, verse 4. Similarly, when Joseph was later falsely accused and thrown into prison, the Lord gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison, who committed to Joseph's care all the prisoners who were in the prison, and whatever was done there, he was the doer of it. 39 verses 21 to 22. From this, we can see that in Scripture, the expression found favor describes a virtuous person who is viewed as trustworthy and reliable. So when Mary is described as someone who has found favor with God, the Bible is telling us that God views her as virtuous and dependable. He is willing to entrust a lot into her care, even his own son. Let's strive to be like Mary. Let's be the kind of people who have found favor with God and others. Let us endeavor to be the kind of virtuous people that others can rely on in life. But if we want to do this, we need to take a closer look at those 4 qualities of virtue we all need to grow in: consistency, ease, promptitude, and joy. Do you have the 4 characteristics of virtue? First, consistency. To possess virtue requires much more than doing good deeds on occasion. Just because a parent one day happens to respond patiently with peace and kindness to a child's meltdown does not mean he possesses the virtue of patience. One act of patience does not make a patient parent. The real question is whether he is the kind of person his family members can consistently expect to respond virtuously with patience and perseverance when there are stressful situations in the home. Moreover, let's keep in mind that it is easy to be cheerful, generous, patient, and kind to others when things are going well in life, when we're feeling healthy, having a good day, and enjoying the people we're with. But will we be cheerful and generous to the people who happen to be frustrating us right now? Will we be patient and kind with our spouse when we're tired? Will we be attentive to our children when we're experiencing stress at work or feeling overwhelmed in life? The virtuous person is someone you can count on to give the best of himself consistently, no matter what the circumstances may be. Second, ease. Virtue also enables a person to perform good acts easily. Just as a professional basketball player drives to the basket and sinks a layup without having to think much about it, the virtuous person performs good acts easily without extraordinary effort, deliberation, or internal struggle. Doing what is good is so deeply ingrained in him that his virtuous deeds are automatic. They're second nature. They flow from who he is. On the other hand, to the extent that a person struggles in being cheerful, humble, or pure, for example, he is lacking in virtue. Third, promptitude. It is not enough to perform the right action. Do we do it promptly? The virtuous person has a steady willingness to do the good, a readiness to respond to the needs of the moment. When the children are misbehaving, the virtuous parent does not say, "I hope my spouse notices and takes care of this." Rather, the virtuous parent has an abiding inclination to serve and thus chooses to help promptly responding to the need. When an immodest image appears on a commercial, the virtuous man doesn't stare at it for a few seconds and allow himself to get drawn in. Rather, because he wants to be virtuous and pure, he immediately looks away or turns the screen off. When a difficult choice needs to be made, a virtuous person doesn't endlessly put off the decision, but is willing to act at the right time because he has an abiding readiness to what is good, no matter how hard it might be. He is willing to be decisive and act when needed. Finally, joy. The virtuous person does not just do what is right, he does it joyfully. An employee might work overtime to help with a project his colleague did not handle well, but he complains about it to his peers. He does the right thing, but he is grumpy about it. He does not find joy in being generous with his time. Similarly, a husband might run some errands for his wife during his favorite team's football game, but internally be frustrated. Couldn't this wait until after the game? Why does she need this right now? He knows serving his wife is more important than the game, so he runs the errands for her, but he does not find joy in this opportunity to love and serve his wife. In all these examples, we see how being virtuous is about so much more than performing the right external actions. It's about being the kind of person who is reliable and whom others can depend on. The virtuous person does what is good consistently, easily, and promptly, and he takes delight in doing what is good, even if it is hard and involves some sacrifice on his part. This indeed is a tall order. If reading these examples felt overwhelming or even made it seem that being virtuous is out of reach, take heart. The Catholic Church has given us a roadmap for growing in virtue. 3 practical ways we all can increase the capacity within us to do good with consistency, ease, promptitude, and joy. It's to those 3 ways of growing in virtue we turn next. Questions. Mary was someone who found favor with God, which in scriptures means she was someone to whom God could entrust Luke chapter 1, verse 30. She was reliable. What qualities of Mary do you think made her dependable in the eyes of God? Which of those qualities do you admire most? Is there someone in your life whom you can always count on, someone to whom you could entrust an important endeavor and seek his help? What makes that person trustworthy? Which of the 4 characteristics of virtue, consistency, ease, promptitude, and joy, do you find most challenging?